Hello and welcome to today's Living Word. I'm Dwayne Matz. We're continuing in the book of Isaiah chapter 5, picking it up at verse 26 to the end of the chapter. He, God, will lift up a banner to the nations from afar, a rallying point, if you will, and will whistle to them from the end of the earth. Surely they shall come with speed swiftly. No one will be weary or stumble among them. No one will slumber or sleep. Nor will the belt on their loins be loosed, nor the strap of their sandals be broken, whose arrows are sharp, and all their bows are bent. Their horses' hooves will seem like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Their roaring will be like a lion. They will roar like young lions. Yes, they will roar and lay hold of the prey. They will carry it away safely, and no one will deliver. In that day, they will roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one looks to the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened by the clouds. Isaiah 5:26 through 30. Well, the catastrophic earthquake didn't get their attention, so God uses another one of his judgment cards. He whistles for a conquering army, and they do his bidding. Now, if that doesn't convince one of the sovereignty of God, I don't know what will. I remember growing up on a farm, and when I wanted my dog to come, I would just whistle, and no matter where he was, he would come running. Well, God is able to do this with an army of any nation that he chooses. Indeed, he eventually whistled for the Babylonian army to come and carry the Israelites into captivity. And just think about it. What a fearful thing to hear the sound of an approaching, disciplined army with the latest in weaponry. The very noise of their approach, similar to that of the roaring sea, drowning out all semblance of normalcy in the lives of the soon-to-be conquered. The very land itself testifying of the darkness and sorrow of conquest. Isaiah 8:22 says, "Then they will look to the earth and see trouble and darkness, gloom of anguish, and they will be driven into darkness." But God, how could you let such a terrible thing happen to your people? And the answer to that question is given to us way back in the book of Deuteronomy, when God warned his people of what would happen when his children refused to obey his commands. What would happen when his people became a joyless, thankless people? Deuteronomy 28, beginning at verse 45. "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart for the abundance of everything. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in need of everything, and he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you." So God warned the people of this judgment when the people first entered the promised land, and over 800 years later, it was fulfilled. In America, we've been blessed as a nation in that we have not experienced such a conquering. But that's not to say it couldn't happen if God so chooses. For our part then, come on, let us seek to be joyful, glad, and thankful servants of God for all that he has given us, seeking to obey his commands. And listen, if we're to be yoked to anyone, let us be yoked to Jesus. As he said in Matthew 11:29 and 30, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I'm Dwayne Matz, and that's today's Living Word.